Hello and welcome back to MCMT YouTube channel. Today we're going to launch challenge 4. So before we begin, a short introduction into the company and the context of the challenge. So the company that is linked to this challenge is called Shropshire 3D Print. It's a small company that's based in Shropshire and they supply the best 3D printers to industry and education. If you'd like to find more out about what the products that they supply, please follow the link on this slide. We're very fortunate at MCMT that Shropshire 3D Print have sponsored our engineering club area and have made available 2 models from their range, which can be accessed by education and industry that visit our site. The challenge that is linked to Shropshire 3D Print is to design and innovate a new product using computer-aided design to supporting combating against the spread of viruses following on from the impact of COVID-19. So that can be anything. So we want you to think about the opportunities and problems that have occurred following COVID-19 and look at how you could use 3D printing and computer-aided design to combat that. So terms that you should already be familiar with are CAD and CAM, and we're going to talk about how this relates to 3D printing. So CAD stands for computer aided design, and that refers to the drawing file which you can create in a range of software applications. CAM refers to any manufacturing process that can be automated by a computer through reading coordinates. So computer-aided manufacture is a way of manufacturing a product using computer software. So 3D printing is one example of computer-aided manufacture that's actually helping transform the engineering and manufacturing industries. 3D printing is an advanced manufacturing process which is evolving month by month. This process allows you to manufacture end products and prototypes. It is also known as additive manufacturing because it builds the materials layer by layer. So it's adding material layer by layer rather than taking the material away, which is the case in other manufacturing processes. Like I said, this process has evolved over the years and it is now used in many industries and for many applications. Some examples of 3D printing applications you can see on this slide. So it's used now quite commonly in the aerospace industry and the automotive industry to manufacture new parts or replace old parts that have become obsolete and can no longer be bought. It's also used in architecture, both for scale models, but also it is now used in real buildings. So it's used in the construction industry, it's used in product design, it's used and has been used in the medical industry for many, many years to manufacture different parts, including prosthetic limbs. So it is a forever evolving manufacturing process. So if you're serious about design, engineering and manufacturing, 3D printing is one method you must explore. It's also used in the fashion industry and it is even used in the food industry. So as you can see, it's a very broad application for 3D printing. So before you begin, what we need you to do is really explore the problems and opportunities. So remember, you're designing a new innovative product to combat the spread of the virus. So we are currently using the context of COVID-19, which is a new virus. Well, actually, it's been around for a long time, but it's a new strain of the virus. But actually, it's a lesson to be learned, and it's something we need to think about for many, many years, how we actually spread and try and eradicate any virus. So first of all, start exploring problems and opportunities. So you might just jot some ideas down on a page like we've done here. So we've looked at things that we might want to consider: hand washing, face visors, the NHS, masks, opening doors, social distancing, touching products, schools, workplaces, supermarkets, care workers. So as you can see, we've literally just popped lots of ideas on a page. So it's our thoughts pasted on a page. We would recommend you start by doing this and then try and be a bit more focused. And your focus might be environments. You might just focus on one environment already because you might have one in mind, but start thinking about and mind mapping environments. So it might be that you look at schools, hospitals, businesses, or shops, or any other type of environment. You may know someone that works in one of these environments. You may know a nurse or a doctor or a healthcare worker or a cleaner that works in a hospital. You may know someone who works in a shop or in a school or any other type of business, whether it be a beauty salon or a hairdresser's. So think about all of the environments that we are going to need to think about new product innovations to help us address this spread. So, mind map environments and start thinking about the problems and opportunities within those environments. So, in hospitals, there's been a massive need for PPE, but also the continuous use of PPE has caused a lot of damage to doctors and nurses by using them continuously. Touching of surfaces is a massive one, not just in hospitals, but many other environments. Washing of hands. So the sharing of the dispensers for washing of hands. All of these things need to be considered. In shops, we've got a massive shared use of trolleys, and lots of shops have stations for cleaning. So we've got a lot of cleaning products being used and a lot of new waste products. We've got the shared use of baskets, social distancing at the checkouts, shared use of signage at checkout to indicate the next person shopping. Should these even be used? Is there an alternative that we could come up with? Schools opening doors, managing use of resources, managing the flow of children, social distancing in small spaces. Now, a lot of these issues apply in many of the same environments, but if you can interview or speak to someone from these environments, you can actually look at what problems exist specifically to them. Think about different businesses, whether it be manufacturing or the hair and beauty industry. Think about how you can find a problem or an opportunity for a new product. So at this stage, your ideas will be racing, and some you will decide that they're not worth exploring, and others you'll find a unique opportunity in there. But what we need you to think about as well is be looking at the news. How is 3D printing being used currently to combat this virus? So you may have noticed in the news, teachers right across the UK and internationally have been manufacturing personal protective equipment to frontline workers. Engineers and manufacturers have also been manufacturing visors and ventilators. They've been changing their production lines to actually manufacture ventilators for the NHS. Young people, this boy as an example, have been actually using their skills and expertise at home to come up with solutions to problems. So this young boy has actually designed and made an adjuster to support NHS workers who are continuously wearing masks. And then we've got examples of how people have been using and developing products to find a secondary use for a product. So here's an example of a snorkeling mask that's been used and modified using 3D printing to act as a ventilator. So 3D printing has hit the headlines during this pandemic. Other products that have been developed, which if you go on to Thingiverse, this is a site for people to share all of their computer-aided design files for other people to use. It's a great source of inspiration. So here are some products that have been used, that have been published on Thingiverse. So we've got masks, we've got ideas for opening doors without touching the handles, we've got ideas for dispensing soap without touching the top of the dispenser. And again, we've got ideas for modifying ventilators. So lots of ideas on there for you to explore. So once you have explored the problem and you've explored the opportunities, we want you to select one to work on. So obviously there are lots of examples of pre-existing products on there. If you can come up with something new, brilliant, because we're looking for engineers to innovate. But you may find something that exists and you might feel that you want to improve on that product. So once you've selected a problem, so it could be that you want to solve the problem of touching handles, start exploring your ideas and getting them onto paper. So you might start by sketching your ideas to communicate them on paper and get an idea for the shape and size. You might then start to do some rough models out of cardboard and paper to actually work out the size and shape against the actual handles. You might try them against different sized handles. Alongside sketching and modelling, you might want to gather some data. So if you are designing a product to help open doors without touching the handles, you want to get sizes of handles, different shaped handles, to make sure that the product that you develop can be used in all sorts of different contexts. So research is important and it's done right throughout the process. So once you've got some ideas, then you need to choose one which you're going to present. So you are then going to produce a prototype using computer-aided design. Here's an example of a prototype that has been made in computer-aided design, and they've actually rendered it to show the use in context. So they've brought in products to show how it would be used in the particular context in which it's used. So it's a device to allow you to open doors without touching them, but they've also developed a product to hold this device. Now, this example product was produced by someone called Knox Knox, who's a professional designer and engineer, and this was found on Thingiverse. So remember, Thingiverse, all of the products on there are free for you to use to gather ideas. So please have a look on there. So once you've got your design in CAD, then you can submit to us. Now, you may not have access to software at the moment. So the software we would recommend is Fusion 360. So that can be found on Autodesk. The reason we recommend Fusion 360 is because it's free for educational use. So to you as a student, you can use that for free. If you are new to computer-aided design or you're a bit younger and you want to explore it, we'd recommend you start with Tinkercad. So again, same provider, free to educational use. Tinkercad is the alternative software you can use. There are other software, there is a range of other software out there, but these are the ones that we recommend. Then in terms of 3D printing, you may not have a 3D printer at home, and if you have, brilliant. Have a go at printing your solution. But over at MCMT, thanks to Shropshire 3D Print, we have the facilities to 3D print for you. So if you would like us to 3D print your solution, you just need to email your file as an STL file and we can actually manufacture that for you. So you can see on this image, you can actually set up to print remotely to the centre. So that can be arranged. We hope you enjoy this challenge and we hope you enjoy exploring computer-aided design and computer-aided manufacture. We look forward to seeing your solutions and we'd encourage you to make sure you get your designs into us by the end of the month. Thank you for listening and we hope you enjoy.